outlining made a big difference of keeping the flow of where I want to go. For me, delegation is like, once it gets to a point where I cannot sustain this anymore, I delegate.
What is up, everyone? We are back with YouTuber and AI specialist Matt Wolfe for part 2 of our conversation. Today, we dive into the nitty-gritty of building a team as a content creator. Matt will share who he hired and when in order to support the fast growth of his YouTube channel. And to kick things off, I asked Matt what were his top 3 tips to create content faster. Let's hear what he said.
So the 3 tips that I would give people are, number 1, outlining is something that actually really changed the game for me. Because a lot of times what I would do is I would just hit record and have plans to talk about a bunch of different things, and then I would jump all over the place. Outlining made a big difference of keeping the flow of where I want to go. Because what would happen is I would talk about something, move on to the next thing, and then go, oh, I forgot to mention that about the last thing. And then I would go back and start talking about the last thing again. And then in editing, now I just made so much more work for myself, because in editing I would have to start cutting and rearranging stuff and try to clean it up. So just having an outline, I actually have this little what do you call it, a remarkable tablet, and I write all of my outlines for all of my videos. Even all the questions I know you're going to ask today, I have written right here on my tablet, so I kind of know where we're going. So I just always love to have notes in front of me while I'm recording. That's been huge for me, and it just kind of keeps things on flow. And it also helps with that pacing. It helps with not getting into the weeds too much and not talking about stuff that's not important. Just follow the outline. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I just kind of am always in record mode, right? I never know when inspiration's going to strike or I'll have an idea for content. So like I said, I'll have my lights on, I'll have OBS open, I'll have my background all set, I'll have my cameras turned on. And when I have an idea, I have a 1 button on my Stream Deck and I'm recording. So I'm pretty much always prepped for record mode, and I never know when something's going to come up. So every day when I'm updating the Future Tools website with all the new tools I'm coming across, every once in a while I'll come across a tool that I just think is really phenomenal. And if I come across it, I can, capture my in real-time reaction to messing with that tool with just 1 button on my Stream Deck. So that sort of being prepared all the time to just go into content mode has been really helpful as well. And then the third thing I would say is that Timebolt tool has just been an absolutely huge time saver when it comes to editing. In fact, I still do the Timebolt process myself before sending it to my editor. I actually plug my video into there, cut out all the gaps, do a 2x speed recap of my entire video and see if there's anything I don't even want my editor to get because he might accidentally leave it in or something like that. So I actually use that Timebolt product and cut out all of the stuff that I know I don't want to make the cut before I even send it to my editor. And that has been a really big help as well. And then, if there's a 3.5, it would be get an editor to help you out.
Definitely. So that's a nice segue to my next question. You mentioned you were doing everything by yourself up to a point where you decide, okay, it's time to get an editor. Mm-hmm. What motivated that decision? Like, when is a good time to start delegating?
I think for me, delegation happens when it becomes really painful not to delegate, right? I will go until, I'm up until 1:30, 2 o'clock doing these edits myself, and I start to feel the effects on not getting enough sleep, and I start to feel, all right, the next day my content's not as good because I didn't get as much sleep last night. So for me, delegation is like, I don't know if this is the best advice for everybody, but once it gets to a point where I cannot sustain this anymore, I delegate. I have really just 3 people helping me right now. I have an editor helping me. I have 1 person that helps me keep Future Tools up to date and sort of does some of the website maintenance for me. And then I have 1 person that's helping me moderate my Discord channel for me. And those are really the only 3 people that I'm working with. And all 3 of them came on when the pain of doing those tasks just got too overwhelming for me. Same thing happened with editing. It got to a point where I was staying up till 1:30, 2 o'clock at night because I was trying to make my videos higher and higher quality. The Mr. Beast philosophy. I want every video to be better than my last. And so it got to that point where I'm up till 2 a.m. and then the next day I'm a zombie all day because I didn't get much sleep. That pain was enough for me to bring on somebody to help me out.
So you kind of needs to get to a very painful situation. That's an interesting philosophy and way to look at the delegating part of your business. What do you think the next 2 people would be?
That's a really good question. I'm actually not sure, to be honest. Right now, I'm feeling pretty confident about the group I got, but it would probably be someone to help me up-level my videos. 1 person I would like to bring in is somebody that can help me with camera work and stuff. I would like to start going to in-person events around AI, the Consumer Electronics electronic expo, things like that. I want to start going to stuff like that and actually have like a somebody that knows what they're doing with a camera help me out. So it would probably be somewhere in that realm. And then possibly a second editor as well. Maybe somebody that can do the first pass for me and then send it to the editor who does all the zooms. You know, different editors kind of specialize in different things. But right now I'm kind of at a point where I haven't really started to think about that next phase yet. The kind of crew that I've got working with, I feel like I'm in a good flow with. And really the only thing that's next for me to do is maybe back off on making as much content and letting my team do a little bit more of the work.
Big part of his success is the thumbnail games. I remember an interview of Mr. Beast, and he was saying like, sometimes we just throw $10,000, $15,000 at a thumbnail for a video because we know how much of a difference a good thumbnail can make on a channel of our size. Like he has like 100 million views on every single video. If all of a sudden he gets 60 million views, that's a fail for him. And in terms of revenue, it's a huge impact for the you. So spending 10K on a thumbnail or like 100 thumbnails that a team of graphic designers will probably design for him is absolutely a good investment at this point.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thumbnails, but your thumbnails are really interesting because you use AI to create your thumbnails. I've seen you were struggling with having to wear a suit to, on your thumbnail because for some reason, like these AI tools, like just draw you with a suit. But I found your thumbnails interesting in that sense that you use the tools that you kind of talk about to generate the thumbnails. And you also kind of documented your workflow of creating these thumbnails, which is a pretty cool video on your channel. So there you go. This is the part about producing content for YouTube. I'd love now to talk about AI tips from the AI guy. So